Welcome to the podcast where we're harvesting humor, planting delight. Join us, Iona and Cammy. Let's have some fun. It's time for Fed by Farmers.
Saying I look grumpy and all that, but actually I think it was a camera angle.
Was it?
I was so tired. I did look like I was
Folk
frowning
were
all the time,
harsh
but-
on you in those ones.
Yeah,
In
so
that last one,
it was just
I
a few
do.
photo in it, wasn't everybody? Was
No,
it?
it wasn't everybody.
I know, but I seen it.
No, I think folk were thinking, because again, I went back and watched it, but it's more, I think that's just when you're like looking to debate, it maybe look like it, because your face is like that, because you're like debating, but you're not actually crabbit.
Yeah, I used to be a master debater. We've started, by the way. I'm just going to leave that in. Iona and I were just discussing comments on our previous video where we did the Q&A. A lot of comments saying that I was, what was I saying again? I was angry. No, I wasn't angry. I was
Like you
crabbit.
shouldn't do it if you're not in the mood for it.
Yeah, but like I was, when we have I basically disagree with anything, like to try and cause a debate. That was the whole point
get
of
the
it.
conversation
I just
going.
go, no, you're right. So
Oh, I would love that. Say more.
So I just poke fun. But hello and welcome to the Fed by Farmers podcast with me, Cammy Wilson.
And me, Iona Murray.
I'm forcing a smile this week so nobody can say anything. Oh. No, I'm only joking. We're in a new studio. This is going to be the one. I am going to tweak it a wee bit, get the Fed thing up on the wall. For the creeps that are watching, you can see it. For the guys and girls listening in your ear. Hi there.
Hey, yeah.
I wonder how they put... Hello, you do one?
Hello.
Oh, that's nice. So we're going to get stuff up on the walls and get lighting sorted a bit better, but this is it. Loads of space. We're in the old byre at the farm. So before we get into this podcast this week, Iona, a bit of a fun one this week. Lambing time. We kind of didn't have enough guests in the bank, just with changing the studio and being absolutely flat out hectic. So we've come up with a clever idea this week. I'll tell you about that in a second though. Who are we thanking before we
We're
start?
thanking Hairdwatch and Crystalyx.
Finally got our Crystalyx tubs up behind us here and our little Hairdwatch teddy there as well. Just fascinating. I should have spoke about it in this podcast coming. James Nisbet is one of the guests. So there's 4 of us in this one that's coming.
Yeah, so I don't know anything about it. Talk to me.
So there's 4 of us. There were just a couple of boys I was speaking to them anyway, but a cow I had worried about mastitis, and we were chatting, and they said, "Oh, come down and see it." And I says, "Right, well, come on down." And I says to a couple of other boys, David Andrew, Kevin Lang, and James Nisbet's the third one. I says, "Just come on down and we'll just sit and have a chat. I need a guest this week." And it was like Sunday. The reason you're not here, I should say, is because it was like Sunday night, and well, you're doing far too much as it is. So last minute pulled it together, and that's where this came about. So
what do you chat about? Oh, anyway, we'll hear it.
yeah, it's just pretty loose, man. It's just like 4 guys sitting and have a chat about random stuff.
Nice.
A lot of misinformation.
Did you have
a lot of Joe Rogan style absolute nonsense spoke? Like I think that's right, but it was fine. It's just
good.
4 guys having a chat. Like so, hopefully folk enjoy it. And don't take it too seriously. Like we're pretty light-hearted. It's been a great spring. But one thing that James said, interestingly, we're just quickly touching the Hairdwatch that I didn't realise as well. When he takes a beast to market and sells it, it must be the Scotty ID or whatever the tracking system is automatically updates his Hairdwatch with the price he got, the move off for that cow or beast and the price he got for it. And same if he buys cattle at market. It'll move them onto him, and he'll be able to see their price when he bought them, the weight it was when he bought it.
That is so good.
Yeah, it was good. So I thought it was another good selling point. So we never spoke about it in the podcast, so I thought I'd get it out there.
Yeah,
You know what it's like. We did an hours podcast, but they were here for 4 hours.
Were they?
You know,
chatting and
chatting, looking around the shed, sharing ideas.
Yeah,
you know.
that's good.
And actually, when the camera's not on, that's when all the best chat happens.
I know.
But obviously, we kept it fairly PC for the cameras and didn't gossip too much about other folk. So will we crack on and get into it, and then we'll debrief at the end?
Okay, let's do that.
Let's go. And we're straight into it. We're here with David Andrew, James Nisbet, Kevin Lang, all Ayrshire farmers. Well, David's just a boy. And Kevin's just a boy. And James is just a boy, actually. So it's just myself that's actually the head man of the business. Oh, no, Lizzie's in charge. All right. Well, we're 4 boys here to talk about lambing and calving. That's quite fun, wasn't it? Because we've just been talking absolute nonsense since, and it's just like straight into business there. Everybody tenses up. So, best lambing ever?
Well, I'm just a boy, but I would say so.
Yeah. Do you
Best I
remember?
can remember.
Do you remember 76?
I can't remember the big snow, no.
Who's the oldest? What age are you, Kevin?
Oh, 39.
James, what age are you?
38.
Are you? There you go, Kevin. No, sorry. Kev, you're the oldest. Is this the best lambing ever?
Aye. And all my long years of doing it.
I actually think it's like it's a bit of a depressing thought. Because like,
It's only get worse.
well, mate, it's all downhill for here.
We're all going to put extra sheep on next year.
Does anybody actually remember last year?
I don't know.
I've forgotten about.
Fingers burnt. There's a few things I'm supposed to dissect about the whole thing. One, we've all got more lambs than last year, but sheep trade, James, you have the lambs furthest forward. You've been lambing end of February. What do you think about this spring lamb job?
Still going to be a decent trade. You know, we've got a good trade last year, but like, you know, we're probably looking for more and more. When we get a good trade, we're expecting more and more. What are you going to get? Still going to be £150. Well, you've had them 12 weeks, 9-10 weeks.
Aye.
I love. This is too positive a group. Actually, I should have brought in some real negativity. You got lambs ready to go?
They're ready to go now.
Aye.
Anytime. Really
And what they
anytime.
like out of Suffolk Cross Shows?
Suffolk Cross House to Texel Tip.
Texel Tip. Where'd you get a Texel Tips?
Aberdeenshire.
Aberdeenshire. Love it. They'll get too dear. I know. Don't mention it, mate. They're getting too dear. So in creek fed.
Yeah, creep feed, aye.
Okay. And what weights are they?
The toppies will be like mid-40s, you know.
But you're talking. You say the trade's fine, but why you not sold them? Because you're hoping it gets dearer.
I thought it was like dearer. You know what it's like? Always the first couple of weeks are always, when they first come, they're maybe the cheapest. Then there's a wee rise. Last year, a wee rise. By the end of May, beginning of June, it was probably.
Is that because the butcher starts wanting them?
Yep.
Because they'll transition for the hogs.
Yep.
Hogs have been terrible.
I think the butchers might stay on them a wee bit, on the hogs a wee bit longer, just because
Because they're
cheaper.
so cheap. Aye.
But the
I've
quality,
said you had
yeah.
the lambs. I've actually got that wrong. I said he was the furthest forward. You've sold lambs already.
Not yet, no.
Have you not?
We've got lambs ready, just coming on.
Well, he started lambing
If
in
he'd bought
December.
if he used the Charlie tip, he would have had his lambs.
You'd have been
already.
further forward.
Aye.
Aye. Still need to buy it for
We're working on
Aberdeenshire,
that,
right enough. Have you sold lambs? Why have you not sold lambs?
Just
Same reason as James?
Aye, same reason. Aye. Wait until we can get at them more regularly.
Okay.
There's maybe a couple of big singles ready early, but that's the thing. The butcher wants them.
Aye.
If they want to switch on to them, they want to know there's a regular supply
coming.
there. So
I don't want to take 10 away this week, then you're
Aye,
next week,
aye, yeah,
and there's nothing
yeah.
there, there's only 2 or 3.
But Kev, I'm actually thinking like we're all kind of. I even lamb some in March this year, but you started 1st of March as well.
Yep.
Are you any near the bit?
I haven't weighed any, but
look
in
like
fact,
it.
I haven't even white dosed them yet.
But I looked at the
It's
map.
been that dry.
Oh,
But we're normally mid-June.
are you?
mid-June.
I looked at the Nemeted Iris forecast. Ken, that Scops website.
so that's
We are very low risk.
Well, I dosed mine a day last week. It's had 2 degens.
Did you? Were they vaccinated?
Yes, been vaccinated.
So they'd been vaccinated
Yep.
and still dropped just two
But
big deed
to
lambs.
Aye, but there was like a bit of dirt in their tails, just all of a sudden. And
I did
was
my
like,
early ones too.
Yep, and I never like, what a difference. When it worked,
Did
when
you?
I see a difference
Aye.
straight away. I was like, within 2 days, I thought they looked fuller.
One big
And they've
thing.
not been eating as much since I dosed them. Don't know why that is.
Okay, because they're actually there's no worms to feed.
this heat
I don't know,
too.
could that be right? I don't know.
Well, the heat. I tell
Don't
you,
eat as much in the heat, do they?
that's one thing I maybe get wrong is I need to move my creek feeders near the water trough. That's probably the best. That's where I probably our good friend from your Kirk. That was a good trick of his.
Yeah.
Take the water to the feeder,
Yeah.
and then they don't have to work as hard to go back and forth. Are you creeping yours, Kev?
Just the hogs.
Just the hogs lambs.
Aye.
I've creeped
Just
them.
to take the pressure off the mothers.
And you're creeping everything early or everything?
I'm going to try and keep everything this time.
Everything.
Everything. And I've left the testicles and everything.
Everything. The later lamb ones too. Have you
Aye.
left the balls on them?
Good
Gonna
job.
be lambing a lot of
Hey.
hogs next spring.
Good job you're no neighbour. It's going to be a nightmare for the neighbours.
I know.
They'll be lambing early next year.
Aye, right, okay.
I just always thought a wee bit of joint out coming through, like and they're always clean done. And the ones that are lambing in February seem to be fine. And then you lamb the ones March, April. You think, where's this joint out came through? So I'm thinking it's bringing that.
Is it a shed getting dirtier though, more than?
I'm just blaming.
Are you seeing any joint? Are you seeing an improvement yet, or is it too soon?
No, I think I see a massive improvement.
Do you? Mm-hmm. That's one thing I will say.
But then
See,
it's a different year. So
it's a different year. It's drier.
Different
The sheds are drier when
Mm.
outside's drier. You'll mark all yours.
Left the balls in the early lambs this year too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What's the early lambs to you?
Middle of February. Well, there's some lambs in December, but they're the
No, but they're
pedigrees,
like
aye.
Charlie times.
They're
But
pedigrees.
you'll mark all yours, do you not? Aye, I don't know about that. Leave the. I mean, I can understand why.
Welfare.
Welfare.
It's got to come. Should come.
It's worth talking about the someone made a great point to me. It's like we're going about welfare. There's a big debate just now, and we'll maybe touch on it briefly about this American trade deal. And everyone goes on about, importing lamb from countries where, poorer welfare standards. Well, a lot of European countries have totally banned marking lambs. We still do it.
Yeah.
And they take our lamb, which is lower welfare standards than theirs.
Yep.
So it's a bit hypocritical that we're hammering hard in our countries about it. What about this American trade deal? Nothing to worry about.
I don't really know. I don't really know enough about.
They don't
it,
have enough
so-
meat.
As far as I know, they're no self-sufficient in beef anyway.
Exactly.
And the beef will be more beef imports or exports to us that they're looking at. So I don't see, and I also read a bit where they were comparing prices, and I think their beef is easily as dear as ours, if not more expensive. So
Well, I see these. You see these TikToks come up with the price of them buying calves at the market, and it's just like crazy money. It's like here. It's just madness.
So I don't think there'll be much to worry. It's a headline.
Oh,
More than
and
anything.
is it not just typical media that everybody's talking about this America deal and nobody's talking about the deal they've done with India to take our lamb? There's 1.1 billion people in India, and we're getting lamb in there. 200 million Muslims. Like, what an absolute belter of a trade deal that is.
And that's
Why are they only £150 then?
And the exchange rate's no great, mate. I don't know if you've been to India. It's no great. But nobody's. Hey, we're all going about. What about the poor sheep farmers in India?
I
I bet they're holding up the India farmer, going, "I can't believe they've done this to us. They've sold us to the river."
I thought you were going to attempt an accent there, but
No, I don't go that far, mate. I've got a career to think about. Do you know what I mean? But like, there is. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit hypocritical, but I think that is a bloody good. I actually think I made some good moves with the trade deals recently. Although I'm not for 1 minute saying I'm pro Labour at all, because they absolutely hate farmers. There's no doubt about it. And this solar farms is the next thing that's going to rear its head. But the trade deals have been all right. Don't worry about America. I think negativity is what
I think
sells newspapers.
their herd's down as well. So
Is it
Oh,
10,
massive.
10 million head down.
10 million.
Cattle.
And I heard, is there something about they can't import live cattle anymore from South America because of some disease? So, like,
I heard that one.
that's another knock on. They're not getting breeding females in.
It's a global market nowadays.
Crystalyx Extra High Energy Feed Blocks have been providing high energy supplementation to ewes, lambs and rams in the UK since 1978. Packed full of protein, vitamins, minerals and trace elements, Crystalyx Extra High Energy has been proven to increase live lamb numbers and improve lamb daily live weight gain at a cost of only 4 to 7 pence per ewe per day. To view the full Crystalyx range and find your nearest stockist, visit crystalyx-global.com.
And people are getting wealthier, can eat more protein. And the Gen Zs love eggs. What about an egg shed? Why are you not putting a hen shed up?
I don't know. I listened to the podcast the other day with Thomas.
Aye. Why are you not doing it?
It's a staff thing, isn't it? It's
Mate, Thomas, he says to me, what is that, 16,000 egg shed? Was it 16 or 32? It just needs
16 aside, is it? Aye.
Well, you split it in
32,
two, I
aye,
think,
yeah.
but you can do a 16, I think. But I think maybe it's a 32. And you need one full-time person and a weekend cover. That's
Right.
it.
How many acres was it again you needed? Is it?
An acre per bird. So you need
Right.
32 acres for a 32,000 shed. Could you
I
spare that?
I think I'm right in saying you can.
think you can still graze it.
graze.
Aye,
Aye,
aye.
you can still graze round about, and the
Aye, aye.
hens actually really. go
Oh,
out,
hence
so-
what I get inside anyway.
yeah,
So the food and
yeah.
water and heat is inside.
Aye,
Why are we not doing it?
and you get all the muck.
You get all the muck.
Aye.
But why are you not doing it?
Don't know.
Why are you not doing it? Because you don't own it. That's the biggest problem. What about you, Kevin? What's your excuse?
Can't do everything.
Oh, come on. Come on. The valley's good for it, eggs as well. There's already a run in there. You could just tap into that.
As
Well,
far
you're not
as I'm
doing it.
aware, though, you'll need to be a certain distance away from the next shed.
Because there's broilers in your valley, that
Aye.
might be an issue.
Well, we would be stuck between Allerton and Bryson's.
Oh, of course. I forgot about Jim
Yeah,
across
I
the
think
road.
there's something, I'm sure
Aye.
there's something about that.
You have to be
Is
400.
that
It's
for
not
the
the
disease
David all
risk?
the time, it's purely location.
Aye. Now you're going to think about it. But I think you need to be 400 metre away from any house. Any house. You need to be 400 metres away. You need 3-phase power. Is another thing.
That's about 40,000 to get that put in.
That's a big thing as well. That's another factor. I don't know if you'd even get 3-phase power where you are.
We've got 3 phase. Aye.
Have you?
At the farm, aye.
On the farm?
Aye.
Mate, Right.
It's all making sense.
Let's get you a phone number for Glenrath after this podcast. We'll follow that story. Like that's how you pay the farm off his eggs. But back to the lambing, absolute doddle.
Wait a minute, Cammy. Yeah. Where's yours?
I tried. I had my mate look at it, too close to Hussey's. Here.
Right.
And it would take my whole farm to do a 32,000.
You could only get a 16.
I'm all actually. Do you know? I've been telling everyone I've got 16 acres. It's actually 16 acres with a stead, and it's only 14 and a half acres of grass. I did my axe farm the other day. It's only actually 14 and a half acres I get to claim. I'm like, oh right. So I couldn't even have a 16,000 bird shed. So thanks for bringing that up. But back to the lambing thing. What's the kind of highlights? What's the takeaways this year?
Just get the same weather again next year, and we'll.
Badodo.
Slightly more. Could have done with slightly more lambs in them to start with. So I think that's the key takeaway.
Did you hear my thing about what's not my thing, but that Neris Wright thing about the condition at weaning sets the scanning for the year?
Yeah, I've heard that one before. Yeah.
I thought that was interesting because usually, like, I'm horrible to my ewes at weaning. Well, as you're meant to be to dry them off. You know, they work bloody hard. Shove them in a rough bit and just leave them, then forget about them for a month or two, then bring them in.
Wean earlier, I think maybe.
Wait, how many weeks do you wean?
Usually about 12.
Yeah,
but
okay. Is that early?
No, I'm
Maybe
saying
it
it's not early, but
no, I was going to say
you could probably go
10
a bit
weeks
early.
would be the kind of
yeah.
okay. When do you wean? You just sell them after the yow?
Nah, most of them come off their mums and that. But then I'll be all spent by the middle of August. You know, the ones born even the hogs. I'm going to try and do the hogs a lot earlier. 10 weeks with the hogs.
That's where this creep thing's going to be a good thing.
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
I think price of lamb's going to ease a bit. I think just with the numbers, and it is just where it is. But as you say, it's actually all right.
It's still all right.
I saw somebody in the Scottish Farming Forum or somewhere going, well, that's it. We've had 2 good years. There's no profit in it now. Oh, negative, man. Honestly, like so negative. As soon
But
as
it's just compared to last year, isn't it? It's
I mean, it's £200 a spring lamb
like-
or 220. What were you getting last year for a spring lamb?
I was about between 180 and 190.
Would
But
you start
that
off
was
at?
on fair. That was a fair.
That was a year ago.
Aye, what about you starting off at? Yours were crazy as well, were they not at the start?
I'd have to look back.
Aye.
I'm the old in mind. My memory's gone.
Aye.
Do you think though, with the hog trade being back on the year, it'll save the breeding ewes being any dearer at the back end? Folk will not have killed as many.
I think everybody's got money. I think you're up against everybody's got money there now.
And we've had a good lambing, and we all think, oh, can an extra 20
Yep. Yep.
I did say that to my mother at the end of lambing. I said, we should just get another 200.
Aye.
I was far enough away.
I was
she could
thinking
have
20. I was thinking 20 needed 200.
Aye.
That was just because lambing was easy.
It's a doddle. You've got the sheds. Aye. Just fill the sheds.
But we kind of needed an easy year.
Aye.
We did need an easy year after last year.
It was shocking. Last year was an absolute shocker. We were lucky there was no snow or anything like that. I've had some bad years with snow too. Because you forget it's a big country. Some people get it much worse than others. We're in Ayrshire, generally speaking, we're all right.
Yep.
We're mild. All right, we get it wet. But it was an absolute stinker last year. But I do wonder. I think breeding sheep will be. I think they'll be up. I think look at beef. Beef has a knock-on effect on everything too, because a lot of beef farmers have sheep as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, especially the ones producing calves.
I just wonder if folk will think, the cattle are dear enough, we'll put money into some sheep, you know. I don't know, do you know what I mean? Like, a gimmer might be £200. A breeding cow with a calf now is 4,000, 5,000.
You're a long time getting your money back out of breeding cow too, compared to.
You're waiting a full, you know. I buy my bull and heifers, and I bought year-old bull and heifers there on last week, and they're 2,000. They're a year old. Well, I'll not build them to next year. So I'm going to have to some of them, winter them, some of them, like. But then what would I do? Like last year I bought them, and they were £1,330, and this year they're £2,030.
2030, by the time you get them through ready to go, you're another 400. How much does it cost to winter a beast?
Depends where the winter.
It depends
if you've got them outside, you're laughing.
No,
but
but
if you're inside winter a beast, what's it going to cost you? Like £300? Mayor?
You're probably going to be there.
So you're nearly 2,500 before you've got them coming back to give you a calf.
More than that. But more because
Have you done the maths on buying one with a calf at foot?
I bet you like to buy for the same bit, is that what it is?
I know, I definitely
Return on
agree.
investment.
But then, if you're in a system, you just buy these
Ah,
bulling
definitely.
heifers. It is a funny thing to.
I to
And
break that.
if you don't buy them, then you've not got them.
Aye.
Usually, I would buy 25 off this man, only bought 12.
Is that right? Just
Just-
because of the price. So what, you think you're coming near $3,000 before you've got $3,000? So
I know, but then if I
what are
was
you
going
talking? 15 gimmers? You could have 15 gimmers for the same money.
to give you 30 lambs, 28 lambs,
30 lambs, which should I bring you way over $3,000 back?
quick.
$3,500 back.
Within 6 months.
Within, aye.
Well,
Aye,
seven
aye,
months,
aye.
But some people haven't had a turn out of the beef price, really.
How?
If your man, like calved in the spring last year, sold all his calves in the back end, has now got to go out and buy replacements.
He's
Off
not
a
He
Last
never
year's
got
suckled
off
calves.
last year's price for his calves in October.
Right, okay.
So quite a lot of herds will sell all their.
But
all
he'll
their
get
calves
his big
before
return
Christmas.
coming, surely. He's not had it yet, but his
He's
big
not had it
return's
yet. That's what
coming.
I'm saying. There's a lot of people that's not actually had.
Because
had a
I
turn
take
out
the
of
man
it.
said,
He'll have missed one turn of it.
Aye.
If you see what I mean, because it went in the back end as a suckled calf rather than the spring.
aye, when it's jumped
So
like
that,
crazy.
that crops went younger, so he's missed the trade.
probably jumped £500 or £600.
Aye.
Aye.
Easy that, aye.
But what's...
We would be. Aye. What were we last year? I think back end we averaged about 1450, and the spring bornings that went away there were averaging over to a year old.
My calves were away off a broke there, and they were 292 kilos, and this was in the end of October, first week in November, and they were £1,092 straight off their mums. Well, they would have been, if I'd kept them to February, March, they would have been 400 kilos,
Aye.
£5 a kilo.
Oh, easily. Aye. They tight
So
it.
I'm probably 900.
Aye, you fall into that
I know
bracket
you're still
David's talking
feeding, I
about.
know there's still the losses and things like that, but you're still probably.
Missed that increase. You know.
And is it paying... You don't finish any cattle, do you, Kevin? No? You buy stores to finish?
Aye, finish everything, all our home bredgings and buying stores too.
Are you still buying stores?
Aye, I was buying
Are you?
stores last week, aye.
Right.
But it's crazy, aye.
What are you paying for them?
So yearling cattle, we're averaging, what are they? They're 411 a kilo, ranging between 300 to 350 kilos. So, aye, 1,400 quid for
Just
grazing
at 12 months?
Aye, just at 12 months. So,
So but they'll have another
so they'll
6 months
aye,
to
they'll
go.
graze this summer and then they'll be finished in the shed sort of this time next year.
It's a full year.
Aye, yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
pretty,
they're feeding
So
it
it
all,
needs
all
to.
winter.
That's an expensive winter too. Like that.
do you feed them in the summer though, or they're just like grass?
Nah, just great. They'll just
Putting frame
grass
on
this summer,
and
yeah,
then-
put a bit of frame on and then finish them when they come in the house in the back end, all the way through, and then
Some money. Are you still buying the store cattle?
like personally,
Aye.
aye, yeah. I was in the last couple of weeks. It was just to take it turn a bit.
You and your dad?
Aye.
Okay, that's all right. No, it's nice that he still lets you charge on, even though it's getting into crazy money now. That would have really tested his. So I love to see David get on in that. I sent him to buy the cattle, and the price goes up. And I said, I'll get in this week, son. It'll be fine. But
There was a couple of weeks I came back with nothing, and he does the same sometimes. But it's
yeah, but that's good that you're not pushing on for the sake of pushing on. You're finishing everything now.
I'm trying to finish more and more. I can't finish everything, but I'm trying to finish more and more.
And you think that's worthwhile?
I don't really know, but it feels like you've got a bigger sum of money coming in. You know, just
Bigger sum going out.
I'm just thinking like as in if you get into like putting fat cattle away every week, same as like your dairy boys with their milk
Cash
check
flow.
every month. We could try and get into like putting cattle away instead of I don't know, just
Aye, it all
cash flow.
comes at
It would
once.
look
Yeah.
better.
Aye, because well, in your system, you'll be like a massive heap of cash in different
go.
chunks of the year.
And that's I'm the same. I sell my calves in 2 or 3 different big chunks, and then so if I can get into selling some every week,
Yeah, but then it's like
10. If you could put 10 bullocks away, if you put 10 bullocks away now, what are you going to get?
fat finished.
oh,
They're going to be £2.5 a piece,
yeah.
But that anyway.
Oh, at least
Yeah, but when you're saying put some away every week, you're thinking like 10 a week.
No, I'm not saying maybe 10 a week, maybe a bit much, but like even like 6 a week, you know.
Some money in it, some turnover. Like
Then because the lambs were a great turnover all last year you were taking the 40 lambs to the market every week. Well, you were
Back-
8,
coming
9.
back smiling.
It was, eight,
Aye,
nine,
aye.
eight- there's a trailer if it was 8, 9 grand every week.
aye. That is one nice thing about great thing about lambs. Like you
and
just pick away at them all the time.
They're always, if you just keep going to them every week, different field. Their kidding lambs were real good last year.
Aye, and
Brilliant.
as we said, it's probably not going to see the same this year. But if you've got more of them to sell,
Yeah, as long as it's same.
Like, and if they've been easier gotten, easier put in the ground.
And the yows are looking better, and
Yep.
like I'd be just, we're feeling better. And
Oh, I've decent great spirits. We had air show was yesterday. Kev didn't make it. He's the only one that's too busy working. God love him.
Too busy chasing cattle
Prob-
in somebody else's field.
Aye. I know all about it.
mine on different fields too, but I'll get them tomorrow.
Get the air show.
We'll get them Monday.
Get them tomorrow. Yeah, get them tomorrow. But everyone was in good spirits yesterday.
Oh, really
There's
good.
a real buzz about the thing.
Every farmer just seemed happy, and nobody was moaning. Like usually the first thing, what about this weather? That's what usually.
Yeah.
Everybody's just.
Even the weather, you can't say anything about. That's
Give it
nothing to
another
talk about.
dry week.
I know, but
We'll
nobody's
all
even
be greeting
checking the
about the
weather.
virus.
We're not even checking the weather. We're just deciding what we're doing the day before. Like, we'll just go and do this.
Because it's going to be 22 degrees every day.
Where usually
Looking
you're
at the
looking
next
at the
fortnight.
weather, that's a dry day. We'll do the dry day. But
Well, even the silage boys were mostly there because they could take a day off because the next fortnight's dry. Although thankfully I think there's some rain coming about the 21st for here anyway. Have I
10
jinxed
days
it?
away.
I know. It does change. Like a couple of times it showed us rain and it just disappears again. But yeah, so looking forward, we're thinking Gimmers are going to be dear. What's the predictions? Gimmers are going to be dear. Lambs are going to be easier on the year,
But still good.
but still good.
Will there be as many
Even when
lambs
I put
coming
people in.
from down south with the Smallenberg and the Blue Tongue thing? Is that,
Restrictions.
Well,
will that halt the numbers coming forward a bit?
they're still, I suppose should be selling flat out now, shouldn't they? Drought might be another factor.
Aye,
for them.
that could be a big thing. They say that Wales is really, it's near rain.
Is it? I heard Yorkshire's burning up fast. Like I imagine there'll be a lot of kind of rockier kind of stuff there. Maybe dry out quick. I suppose Ayrshire gets away with it. Like a lot of heavy ground here. Like we can take a drought. Like I know I think we'll start making it a drinking game. Every time I say Ayrshire is the best place to farm, you have to take a dram. But I think every podcast it comes back round to how good is Ayrshire? How good is it though? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, shush.
That's
We don't want them to come here. I say that every week. But yeah, the rain might be a factor. Lambs going hard, and that's where I've got it in my head. We're creeping quite a lot of lambs as well. Creep feeding a lot of lambs. I've got it in my head actually. If the summer continues in this vein, creeping could be a massive advantage because lambs are going to go hard as hell.
Yep.
And those ones with a bit of cover getting fed. Sorry, Kevin. Those ones with a bit of cover getting fed.
Always guaranteed to rain in Irvine Valley. So.
You might be all right. Aye. You might. The grass will come yet. But I know these lambs going hard because of the drought. But no, I think it's going to be a good return. I don't think Schmallenberg. It's been a factor, obviously, but I mean, it was a massive factor last year as well, and was it an influence? I'm not really sure it was. What is going to be interesting is when was this podcast going out? When's the 15th of May? This will be out before the 15th of May.
Thursday by the 15th.
Yeah, so this should be out on Tuesday, this podcast, just before the 15th. This big announcement that's meant to be coming. I mean, I think it's okay to speculate a wee bit about it. The gossip seems to be that they're going to close the border. The border is going to be the Blue Tongue zone.
I have heard this, but there's a lot of implications for the markets and whatnot.
Oh, disaster.
That's,
Disaster for the two big markets, just south of the border.
Yep.
I imagine they've been fighting it hard, but if I'm positive about it again, I think about my lambs that went down into Lincolnshire into the Blue Tongue zone. There was very little difference in price compared to lambs up here. Because so much, all the abattoirs and and a lot of the buyers, they're in the Blue Tongue zone anyway.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure, is there a lot of lambs come from England into Scotland to be slaughtered?
I wouldn't have thought so.
I didn't know.
You think more so the other way, wouldn't you?
I would think
Definitely the other way. But
I would think maybe more cattle. I would think maybe more cattle would come up, would they not?
I think it's the other way.
it's the other way with that as well now, I think.
Is it? More go south?
One of the things they're worried about is too many head of cattle going south affects the abattoirs up here.
A critical mass?
You end up losing one.
I did hear Martin Kennedy talking about that one time at an NFU thing. He was saying that's one big issue is that a lot of these big store buyers buy from Scotland, high health. We're pretty healthy up here.
Yep.
Take them south, and then that leaves our abattoirs with not enough to do. But that again, I don't think that'll. I know it's a panic for certainly big businesses like markets and stuff, but I actually don't think it's going to affect trade.
No.
Desperately, it might shake things for a week or two while folk are like, "Oh, I'm not selling lambs there to see what happens." But if the trade keeps booming the way it was, because I'd imagine at these markets a lot of the buyers are English. So if I think it might even sell out all right. There's going to be a bit of panic. There's folk pushing, I think, for the whole of Scotland to be in it as well.
to be all restricted.
Just make the whole UK.
There was talk of that.
Just make the whole UK. But then as a Scottish farmer, I'd probably be more like, but we don't have it yet. So like,
they can keep it.
aye, we don't have it yet. So like, protect ourselves a little bit. You know, a bit selfish. Like, let's not bring it that way. Shows is the other implication.
Yeah.
If they do pull that, Yorkshire show is going to take a hit.
I know. I got an email for the Yorkshire show the other day, and I couldn't really understand. Like they were like kind of saying that you could go to a show. Like it was really strange. It looked like made you thinking even if you were in a restricted zone, you could actually go to the show as long as you tested. And I thought, well, that would definitely put me off showing.
Even just that.
Yeah. Others coming.
Like,
Oh yeah.
do you know what I mean? It looked like on the email. It looked like if you were in a restricted zone, as long as you tested, you could come to it.
Aye.
Well, I don't, and I know it doesn't pass from animal to animal, but there's just a wee bit of a,
You don't want to take the risk.
you know, if I brought it up and I was next to you and you,
But I think Blue Tongue does pass on it.
Does it
Blue
pass?
Tongue does. Schmallenberg doesn't, but
But
Blue Tongue does.
pass.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain of that.
I wasn't sure whether
Yeah,
it
no,
was or not.
That's why there's no Schmallenberg restrictions, but Blue Tongue, that's why it's restricted, because it does pass animal.
Right.
But then symptoms are pretty obvious. When it's bad with it, it's pretty obvious. But I guess there'll be cases of where, like COVID and all this, what was it they called it? Silent COVID and all that. Was it silent COVID? Remember folk could have COVID and they didn't even know.
Oh, asymptomatic or whatever.
I just went after the work, but they not just went after work.
Oh, absolutely. It's like, I'm absolutely fine to, but swabbing the wife. It's like drug cheats taking a fake piss test in. It's like, look, my fake swab.
Do you know MD with has had Blue Tongue? I don't know.
I think that's when you end up with COVID. I'm like, no, mate, it's the government again. It's the government.
I don't know. Like, I don't actually know him. I've never spoke to him that's had it.
No, that's a good point, actually.
Like, do you know?
Have we had people even speaking out in the media about it? Like, I can't really think MD actually. No. I mean, it's obviously there, is it? It obviously is there.
Aye, obviously, but
Aye, it's a good point. I can't think of like farmers doing interviews about it.
not seeing TikTok. It'll be TikTok next. We're talking about it now.
Aye, our phones will be listening. But that's a good point, actually. But it obviously is there.
They say
Enough.
it's really, really sore on the animals. They say it's terrible.
Well, is it not? I had a friend in Germany that was, because Germany was really bad with it, and if the sheep got infected with it, I think it was like a 30% mortality rate in sheep. I don't think I don't think it kills cows,
Right.
but it kills sheep.
Does it not
We're
cause
this
fertility issues?
This is
in
getting a bit
cows
Joe
too?
Rogan here. I might just build a lot of
It's a big
conspiracy theory
conspiracy.
stuff, but
Does it not cause fertility issues in cattle too?
Is that the big
I
thing?
think that's maybe one of the big issues.
aye.
But
hey, if they make the vaccine, like they're bringing the vaccine obviously down south, it's an absolute fortune.
I think we can get it in Scotland now.
yeah.
It's a fortune.
Is it the cows are done twice? I think 4 weeks apart.
Do you know how much it is?
Is it two? I think it's about 250. Don't say that.
250
James
roughly.
did not say that, but I think
Okay,
it- I think
so
it
about
is.
a fiver a cow.
Yep.
But what's
And
the
sheep
price?
just get done once.
And it's 250 as well.
Might run into a lot of money, but like cattle wise, for the price.
Fiver's
of
no dear for a
not-
cow.
Cow, yeah.
Remember we done it years ago. We done it for about 1 year and
For Blue Tongue.
aye.
Right, okay.
Many year old. Aye, bad boys. So
Aye.
I was thinking, I don't remember that.
No, I don't. Well, I don't know.
wouldn't he?
What was it going to be, 15, 20 years ago?
I must be 20 years ago, I would think, anyway.
I remember my dad doing it.
I have. Aye. I have heard folk talk about
But
this.
we haven't only done it for 1 year.
Aye,
we
1
done it
year,
for
I'm
1 year
sure
and
it
that was
was.
it.
Right. Okay.
But well, it'd be alright if we just done it for 1 year and then it get rid of the full thing again. And
Aye.
If it stops it spreading because it kills the symptoms a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
would just turn into the same as the BVD eradication plan. An 8-year plan, 16 years later.
I'll still do
We're
it.
still doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. For that, that's cheery.
On that
Oh,
note,
you said we're too cheery earlier.
No.
Trying to get a balance.
We're all nice and relaxed. No, I think we have, it's good to talk about these things, but I think it is generally speaking, it's very positive. Like, and the lambing has been an absolute doddle. Things for me, things I'd probably do different. Like I think I'll probably lamb more sheep. Ridiculously as good as the weather was, I'd probably put more sheep inside next year just for the workload of it. Because most of my ground's still scattered about, and I just had too many sheep tight to home because I could get away with it because it was like a desert.
Yep.
You know, it was bone dry. But actually, I ended up with lambs getting mixed up, and it was messy. I think put them inside, I can take them away to far away grass as we go. Instead, I've been left with 200 ewes and lambs and 10
I was
acre.
thinking about maybe lambing a wee bit earlier, and it's not to get lambs any earlier, it's just to try and
Spread the workload.
spread it. It's not, folk go, why are you lambs early? But it's not really even just for the early lambs, it's actually literally just to
Manage it.
manage it. Like I've been lambing for, well, still, I've got 2 or 3 left to lamb, but that's been since the beginning of February.
He started in December. He's a Charlie man. He started in December.
Started lambing and put tups it in the same day, I think.
Oh, no, this is serious.
And he's not joking.
No. It's only his uncle lambs longer than him. I spread the workload lamb a bit earlier. One good thing with it is I found we started March and it tied in with like some winterns that ended earlier. And actually, rather than trying to find somewhere else on the go, just tup them earlier. And
Shed.
when the dairy boys will have us say we want them off end of February, just put them straight in the shed.
Yeah, like, I wish I knew. Like I knew it was going to be so good weather. Because if you knew it was going to be so good, say days it landed in February, you'd have clipped the yours when you come into the shed in January. Do you know what I mean?
How long do you have them in the shed?
Well, they're in for maybe 3 weeks a month, and then
Before lambing?
And then they just go straight out as they lamb. But like usually, the last couple of years, it would have crucified the ewes. Where this year,
Still quite cold mornings. So
I still think they would have came.
If you're clipping them soon again, they get a month's growth before they go, it's still tight that.
Still too tight.
I would think so. With the cold nights and that, I think it is just December. If they're in December and you're clipping them, I think that extra 6 weeks, 2 months, I think you're absolutely fine.
He just doesn't want to clip those big Suffolk
I
cows.
really don't want to sticky and chuck as hell, like heavy and lambs.
Speak to John Welsh.
Kicking. John Welsh Sheeran will
Speak to
get
me
it.
after.
He'll never say no.
Might be a wee bit frightened of the east wind and they're getting on their vessels as well. End up with a few weed at yows.
Mastitis.
It's been a lot better this year, mastitis. But I don't know whether it's because of the weather or I had bolus to ewes, whether it was a bit of both.
Well, we
Or more
definitely had
grass.
less. And
Is more grass
Maybe
help?
aye.
I think it's just we've not had that vicious east wind. Although it's been cool, we haven't had that cut you in two wind.
Yeah, I was thinking last lambing. Yeah, no, we're definitely better for mastitis. Like,
I think I've only-
unbelievably good, actually.
I think I've only had one Scotch mule.
And
bad vessel.
is that right? I'd say I was unbelievably good for joint ill as well. Like ridiculously good. And again, that's probably
Ground's dry. Then
ground's dry.
Aye.
Ground's dry. They're not lying in dirty bits all the time, sheltering against a hedge. I think that's been a big factor. Watery mouth, much watery mouth.
No, I would say better.
What are you doing for watery mouth? What's the secret?
Okay, well, I wasn't using anything, and then I got a wee tiny bit, just like I was when they kind of damper days, a couple of days it, I got stuff for the vets. God, I'm not sure what it's called. Really good, and I done everything.
Like a Orijet style stuff.
Aye.
Like was it Orijet you called it? Aye, Spectam.
Spectam.
He used to
Aye.
Orijet and Spectam. Was
Aye.
the two.
That kind of stuff.
Aye, but I think it was called. It done for scour as well,
Okay.
and it was really good. And I just done it for like 10 days. Then I thought, oh, this is, and I stopped doing it after the weather. It was just a couple of days. Like you just like 2 or 3 right, just the usual what you get.
Aye.
Shape pens getting too full and.
And what are you doing for it, Kevin?
Probiotics.
Like Provita or something like that?
Aye.
Is it
It's
Provita or
Osmond, I think.
Osmond stuff? Right, okay. Just a probiotic.
Probiotic.
Do you every lamb a scoot?
Everyone gets it when they spray the navels.
Did you do the calves as well?
Aye, they get a Provita capsule.
A capsule?
It's a wee bolus. Kind of goes in the old singlet's gun. Put that over their throat.
Right, okay. Do you do anything like that?
That and a vitamin E and selenium jag as well.
Okay.
On every-
Is that
every
your
calf.
ground is needing it?
No, just the vitamin E. It was a vet that had spoke to about it because we had problems in the past, and we'd narrowed it down to an E. coli based gut bug that was affecting the calves. We'd get up, they would feed 2 or 3 days later. They were just lugs were down, no right. Give them a Jagger, I don't know, alamycine or Penstrep, low level drug. That was enough to get them over it. But it was the secondary infections. Their immune system was getting laid that low. You were getting joint ill, pneumonia. You're doing your rounds every day with a bucket, syringes and notepads, and just getting around the sheds. So
Aye.
we moved over, started feeding the cattle a mineral, just top dressing the silage with a Scotman Megastat powder, and that's supposed to promote the quality of the colostrum as well. And then with probiotics and the vitamin E and selenium, even with the big Charlie calves, they're just up and feed.
Still no bother?
More or less, anything that you have to give time to is probably the vessel and the coo that's wrong.
Aye,
You
okay.
know, big
It would have been a problem
teats.
anyway.
Aye. So it saved a huge amount of labour hours.
What are you saying, Joe? David, you do anything similar?
Aye, well, we have to bolus the cows for selenium and iodine just so the hill ground are coming off. And I think that was for the same issue, was the immune system in the calves. That's the
I swear it does make a big difference. Like,
This is my first year bolusing the cows, and like I see a massive difference. last year I had a wee bit of rotavirus and like rotavirus in the calves.
Is that skitter?
And I jagged all the calves. It's no cheap. It's like nearly a tenner a jag.
Aye.
But what a difference.
What bolus are you using for that?
It was.
You didn't say any bolus?
I think it was straight. Was it Trace? Yeah.
Actually, sure, aye. Yeah. That's good to know. They used to sponsor us.
Normally Iona does this bit and
I drops in the sponsors.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's fine.
And really good. I can see a massive difference. But I don't know whether it's just the spring it's been or whether it's just been a bit of everything.
Do I need to bolus my cows now?
Not until the vet does blood samples.
I don't know.
Is that not the professional advice?
You throw
A lot
everything.
of people do it twice a year. I done mine. I done mine in February, hoping that would catch like them getting like the bull, getting bulled and that. But then I do think it's just a bit of time to do them in the back end, the numbers. But
I do them in the spring, bolus them in the spring, and then they're getting the mineral and the silage. So that covers them the 6 months of the winter. So you're only bolusing once,
see,
but they should be covered through the.
I'll use like pre-calving Crystalyx tubs, and I think they're pretty good. Like you know,
That'll be
Great-
the same
great
thing.
shout.
Promote quality from quality.
expensive but good. Ken,
And just putting buckets in the shed with
yeah,
them?
the big 80 kilos,
Yeah.
like Ken 6 weeks full of starting calving. But they do eat them, but like
Oh, aye.
but
They like them, though, don't
like
they?
if
Well,
as you know, I probably used about 4 ton of that this year, but
Pre-carver? Yeah, but how many cows you calving?
400. So I know it's probably no, but it's only probably the price of 3
Couple
or
of
4
calves.
calves. Aye, so
Yeah, actually, when you work, when you divide, when you think, that's a positive way to look at things. Like, so that's how I positively look at the price of creep as well. It all comes in.
yeah.
But right, I need to think about the bolus thing for the cows as well. Okay, great. Anything else we think we should cover about lambing or calving? Just hopefully see him again next year.
Aye.
Yeah. And how he's going to hide your herd value at accountancy time? When the accountant says what's the value, what's your stock value?
Just stick it up a tenner. If you really have to.
We're going to have to make it slightly more this year, Kevin. Come on. I've seen it in the paper. What's that? Because, I mean, you have 400 cows. I mean, it is, in all seriousness, 400 cows, probably about 1,000 head of cattle anyway. Like More. Well, mate, your net worth's probably went up £1 million in 6 months. Like, just through...
No, it's not even 6 months. It literally just it was like 10 weeks.
Aye.
Like what it
10
went,
weeks,
like,
mate.
what it went in 10 weeks. It should have went in 10. It should have went in the last 10 years.
I did read a comment. It's like, what was it? It said something like it's 9 years inflation in 4 months. It's not the fact that the trade.
They wouldn't have this problem.
It's not the fact that the trade's that silly. It's just we haven't had that inflation.
It's where it should be.
adjustment. It's back to where it needs to be.
Aye.
At the end of the day, if it had crept up slowly, we probably wouldn't be sitting looking at a national herd that is keeping shrinking every year.
Aye, folk wouldn't have bailed out. If you could make money out of beef cows, Christ, you wind your dad up all the time. He's doing this, he's doing this
I
monitor
used to
farm
say, why are
thing.
you balling with the cows?
Aye.
Every time you were at scanning.
Aye,
Why
because
you
they would
balling
say,
with the
they're
cows?
not making any money, this and that. And I'm like, well, get rid of them all. Just have sheep, have an easy life.
It was just, the
Look
answer
who's
was,
laughing
it was always good for the farm. And
Yeah.
as long as they washed their face, it was
Then
good for the
it's fine.
farm.
Yeah.
But now it's...
Now it's actually, there's a big turn in them.
Yeah.
But
The sheep and cattle work good together.
definitely.
Like, can they do work good together? Like,
that's always been my bother with rent at Grun and putting sheep on every year.
Yep.
Like,
because the cows eat the
Sheep
bits of
sick.
sheep, and if you can try and keep.
there's that one
rotating a
thing
wee
as well.
bit.
Cows will
Yep.
pick up and just, deal with worms and vice versa for sheep, to be fair. It all works in nice. But yeah, that is going to be an interesting thing this year. And it is mad that, like, you're talking about the price of a farm in terms of, like, especially your stocking levels, like, boom, just like that. It's
Buying the farm will be the cheap bit.
incredible.
But stocking it is going to be the problem.
Oh, well, that's I got this 6 months too late. I come to look to buy coos, and I've got heifers coming next week. They're $3,000 a piece. Like, it's just I'm
they're
just 6
pro-
months too late.
And they're in calf.
In calf, well, they've ran with the bull. They're pedigrees, to be fair, so they're
Probably know the way.
no. I think it's fair. I think it's fair.
Well,
I
I
think
don't know.
John's been good to
You
me.
seen the trade down at Ayr last Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, bull and heifers are 3.
Oh, listen, I think it's absolutely fair.
You've robbed the man.
Um,
Absolutely robbed the man.
John will love that. John will love that. He has been good to me. There's no doubt. He was good with the cows as well. Like, he's been good.
He still sleeps at night too.
Just a boy. I don't know the price. He suggests I said aye. But no, I'm looking forward to them coming down. But yeah, that's one thing is getting stocked up. I actually thought there's been a few farms coming on the market, and I think usually kind of Highland Showtime, you know, from a Scottish point of view, Highland Showtime, we see a few more jump on. I thought they eased a wee bit.
Yeah, I think they maybe have just with the kind of forestry things.
Forestry.
There's definitely
There's much money for trees.
there's carbon things.
Maybe some farms you would hardly ever seen advertised, Ken, because they would just be, I will give them 50% more or whatever they were paying.
Then, you know, farmers are like, if the stock's a good price, farmers might say, "Oh, we'll just work in our year.
Aye.
We'll sell." Do you know maybe?
Aye, and when it's been a good spring,
No,
and that as
Is
well.
there no
I'll
flip
drink
side
them.
to
I'll drink
that?
them.
You're going to say cash out?
Take it
to
out
me,
and
like,
say,
if you're thinking of retiring in the next 2 or 3 years,
This would make you
bit of
retire now.
beef, would you not
Farmers.
sell while it's good?
We're farmers, you know. Well, no. Might be
Oh,
better.
you think it could get better? I don't think many folk think this could, because now it's steadied. Like this last week, it was back 10 pence, was it?
Yeah.
So like now we've kind of reached. I think we've kind of we're bound to have reached our kind of level now. And
At
I
least
think you're
for the
right, Kevin. I think if you're thinking of retiring,
Why no
you're
cash
coming
in?
into the summer, and am I right in saying, like we saw with the Black Baldy sale with Robert Parker, like if your cattle are on like a herd basis thing for tax, is that right? So like if you sell them off, there's no tax on it, is that right? Or very little tax? You did it. David's actually a trained accountant.
I didn't.
I know he's got an accountancy degree. What a waste of time that was.
Pass.
You
I know
don't-
most dairy herds will be on a herd basis.
No,
I
but
think I'm right in saying.
your
But I'm
cows
not
are-
sure.
I think there's no something. Yeah. What is the story? See what's selling the calves.
Someone told me a herd of cows is good for tax purposes. For some,
Because he used to lose money.
aye. But I'm not. There is definitely a herd basis thing there. Definitely.
Oh, there is.
I've heard it, but I don't know.
There'll be
enough
people
about
listening will know.
That's Margot. Margot, no.
Yeah, no. Margot's law. I need
She'll still know.
Graham Bryson ask him for accounts. I think there's a head base. So if you're thinking, oh, now's my, you know, that the dearest point, potentially I'm going to have a big tax bill here if I carry them on through. Although I think Youngstock's still going to give you a tax bill. Now's the time to retire. I think it would put more folk out the door.
Should sell up then.
it. Nah,
Let's call it a day.
it's maybe not easy for us sitting at our stage in the careers.
Aye, 'cause you can imagine you
If
might
you're-
push on.
If you've got nobody coming on and you're thinking, 70-year-old time I'm cutting back or not doing it, then I think they're going to cash in while it's good.
But the cattle numbers are going to get less.
Aye, I think the prices are going to push more cattle off
Yeah.
because other than us that are maybe daft enough to do it, there's not really a road into the industry, especially when livestock is dear.
I just think folk are going to, like, if you've got a cow, they think, oh, she's worth £2,000 to put away, you know.
I take an
And
old
you're
cash cow.
thinking, do you know what I mean? You're maybe thinking, well, I just don't know. I'll just put in I think they'll just be more like no give them a chance, if you know what I mean.
So
Like a
you
bit more
think
ruthless.
actually the good prices will make the cow numbers drop even
Yes.
more?
I don't think it will.
Well, that's
By those examples we said.
But
But then surely somebody just buys the farm and then you can't afford to buy the
Buy the
cows.
cows.
Aye. But is there
These
but
heads,
is it not just then that what's going to happen? Because realistically, see these farms at 1.5 million, let's say, we're seeing some decent sized units come on at 1.3, 1.5. Realistically, it has to be other farming businesses that buy them.
yeah.
Because, okay, this is a bit of an exception what we've done here, but that's based off of YouTube money and good earnings out with farming. New entrants can't buy a farm at 1.3 million. Not unless you've got... In fact, it's not even about the deposit. Because even if you've got a mother or father that dies and leaves you a 400,000, 500,000 pound house, you still need books to say you can pay back
You're profitable.
6,000-7,000 pound a month. And it's the books. It's not the money for deposits the hardest thing. It's those books to say it.
But even-
And that's why you need a good farming business. Like, it's easy for a farming business to borrow against
an asset.
the assets, and have the cash flows there, the stocks there.
I don't know how some of these, like, if a farm come up for rent, how's somebody new or somebody young get into like renting a farm now?
Well,
Because how can they buy the stock?
you're buying the stock, but it's not even just that now, James. If a farm comes up for rent, they're competing against me. They're competing against you.
It's already what?
You.
Aye.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
I know.
The neighbours, like, they're competing against big businesses, and if it goes with an agent, a land agent or whatever, the safe bet's the guy that's.
Got the stock.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The young is on. I've got no
And that's
chance.
where I've been lucky. Well, I've been so lucky. Like landlords that have gave me a chance.
Yeah.
As just a young boy to get going when they could have went to the bigger dairy neighbour or whatever, and probably get more money as well and a safe bet, and they've taken the chance. But there's no many landlords like that because at the end of the day, you've got to look after yourself, and it's the highest bidder wins a lot of the time, you know. So yeah, we like to finish on a cheery note. But I think the forestry job easing off and almost dying away.
Carbon, is it? The carbon seems to be the big problem or something. Can they not get rid
They
of the
can't sell them now or
Aye.
something like that.
Aye, did they ever sell them? There was all this talk about carbon credits and airlines were going to buy carbon credits. Did that ever happen? I never heard of that. Because see if they were going to do that, farmers. Because was there not talk at one time, Kev, that they do these carbon audits, and then if you're surplus carbon, if you're in the negative, you could sell your allowance.
Aye, there was talk of that, but again, I've never heard that actually happening.
No. And what happened to all these carbon audits they were doing with the farmers?
I've done one. You
I've done one now.
Well, I think that was all paid for. You had to do it, kind of thing.
Part of your
Had to do it
whole
to
farm
supply
plan.
the cattle.
Are you? What's your carbon audit like? Are you in the red or the black?
I think it's pretty good because we've got the hill bit as well.
So you're like pro. You had extra
I
carbon.
think so.
You can't remember.
Don't know.
You have too many coos. You're definitely.
No,
You're
probably
cattle
not.
heavy.
Kirsten at the college was saying like she's wanting to come back out and try and get it all sorted and get it back up to date. And
Your couple of hill bits you've got might save the day. Do you remember yours is? Was it positive? Was it in the black or the
We
red?
had 0.73 kilos of carbon for every kilo output, so we're under.
So you had a bit to spare. See, I wonder if actually when they, because remember they were saying the farmers were killing the planet. Remember all that chat? I've stopped that now, but
Moved on.
well, they realised they're talking
You
nonsense.
shout about Trump now.
Well, I think they were giving it all that chat. Then they're like, "Oh, we've got to carbon audit all these farms." then they
and
did the
then
carbon audits, and they're
went,
like, "Oh, actually,
shit.
aye, it's like,
Better
actually,
move on.
who'd have thought a farmer with all these hundreds of acres of grass is actually carbon negative?" And then now they never mention it, and there's never this talk of farmers can sell their spare carbon units, like, and that's I think what
I
you're
think
saying.
the carbon thing is going to be a big thing. Seems like they're wanting all these fields tested now.
What's that
Like,
for? For
the
pH?
the soil sampling and
Part
that.
of your whole farm plan.
Yep.
And what's that for?
It's for your Ajax.
Aye, but what was it show them?
Well, as far as I know, the soil sampling that they want for the whole farm plan is to include a carbon load of your soil.
Right.
So there's different levels of soil analysis you can do.
Okay.
It'll give you your pH and your nutrients and everything for your fertiliser.
I think it's about £50 a field.
Is it as much as
But it was
I
paid
think
for
it's a
last
thing.
year, wasn't it? It's not now.
No, but I think it is. We're still going to get some type of grant. Right?
I think they've extended that for another year.
Yeah.
We
The
are
grant-
lucky, we are lucky we
Eventually,
get
what
it.
was it, 2 for 25 they wanted you to do? So you had to pick 2 of the options and have
Yes.
it in that year.
Yes.
But your animal health plan was one of them.
Aye, which we all have that.
QMS, that covers it, you know. And then what was it? You could test the bulls.
Testicles.
What, semen testing?
Aye.
Just to make sure they're efficient.
Aye. Well, that all ties into the
It's pretty handy anyway.
beef calf
Yep.
rules.
And what were you going to say?
We were lucky when we started that monitor farm program. They came out and tested every field, but if they split it into, is it 10 metres squared? And so so you can then go in with a variable rate. So test the pH.
What, they did 10 metre squares every field?
Every single field.
Aye.
But they work it out that it saves. If you're putting lime on, it pays itself back within however long, because normally you would just go in and I've put 2.5 ton on. Whereas you might find those bits of the field that actually don't need any.
Okay.
I
think it's efficiency.
I'd
that's
still
it.
put 2
That's
ton on.
I was always a wee bit dubious of the variable rate if you won the arable. It'd be interesting to.
Well, I think we're getting it done again at the end of the programme to see, because they put 100 ton of lime on just this spring.
Is the
So.
fertiliser all on with variable rate?
No, because they only tested the pH
Right.
for the variable rate. But
Well, the question, I suppose, is with the soil sampling, when fertiliser hit 900 to 1,000 pound a tonne, and we're all looking at soil sampling anyway because it was extortionate. I know we changed for using the old-fashioned 20-10-10 and 25-5-5. The silage ground was getting more than enough from dung and slurry, so it's nitram.
So you put nitram on. What's that?
34.5% nitrogen.
So is it cheaper?
Aye, you're putting less on because it's stronger. You still get your nitrogen units because it's 34.5, whereas you go to 25 or 20.
Well, I
you
just
need-
bought 25.5.
But it'll be a good feed
Aye, but I
for
think
the field.
what's the 5.5 bit? Is that phosphorus or and what?
Potassium and
See,
P&K?
I never use it straight nitrogen. I just always think it's kind of quite sear in the fields. Do you
well,
know?
we tested the silage fields 3 years in a row
Right.
and it was
No difference.
no great difference.
Because of the dung and slurry.
But they were getting slurried 2 and 3 times, only with 2,500 gallon an acre at that.
And that's just beef slurry.
And that's beef slurry, but then there's a lot more fibre in that than just nitrogen.
That's good.
Okay.
And then it was getting loose box dung as well.
But what's nitram a ton?
I couldn't tell you.
Right, okay.
That was bought back in August.
Right, okay. Yeah. Cheap back then.
I look cheaper than what it'll be now anyway.
I think I was like 4.11 a ton
No give you it.
for 25.5. No, I had to buy that, mate.
They sponsor next week's podcast.
Yeah, I can't even know. Who's that? Origin, is it? Origin. It will be. You can nearly see it at that door.
There's a big bag sitting here.
Actually, showing my Crystalyx thumbs up. Yeah, okay, right. To be fair, the way when I've got Silex, mate, being sponsored by Origin would be okay. So if you're listening, do give me a shout. And on that note, no, I think we've covered a good bit there. Good on you coming down. It's actually probably quite a good wee feature. Just shooting the shit over current topics.
Pretend we know what we're talking about.
Aye, well, it's just a Joe Rogan, innit? There's so much misinformation in this podcast. Remember, I always say, do not believe a single thing you hear on
I
social
know, I was
media.
thinking that.
It's literally just 4 farmers shooting the shit,
Cattle prices are terrible.
sharing conspiracy theories. It's all the airlines that are destroying the planet. Don't believe a word they tell you. On that note, thanks very much, boys.
Cheers.
And we're back. So Iona's not actually heard this chat yet, so I can't really ask her what she thinks of it. But hopefully, we don't get too much criticism. And I'm telling you now, do not believe anything you hear on social media.
No.
Including anything that we say on social media.
Did it need a woman's touch? Did it get quite manly?
No, because James was there. It's funny because it's true, isn't it? He's good. He's good. Aye, but James, what the best thing about James is that he's unfazable. He's the man. Do you know what I mean? He is the man. So no, it was good that way. It was just lambing chat, calving chat, American trade chat, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
With a bit of banter thrown in.
Good.
So yes, that is it for this week. We are going to be back next week with another. We have guests lined up for next week, and we've been to Balmoral show, but I've actually recorded this just before I slipped away to Balmoral show so that we could actually get this edited. So I will properly do a Balmoral show chat.
Yeah.
We'll do a Friday chat.
Yeah, let's do a Friday chat.
A Balmoral show debrief.
Yep, let's do that.
That's coming on Friday. The Balmoral show debrief. We'll see you then. I've been Cammy,
I've been Iona.
and we're all
Fed by farmers.
We'll just